I am Professor Hans Rosling. I'm going to show you why this Ebola epidemic is so dangerous. It's because one patient on average keeps infecting 2 other persons. That doesn't sound so dangerous, but I will show you what it means in reality. If this is the first person infected in a country, that person will infect 2 others, and this one will infect 2 others, and this also. Each of these one infect 2 others. That doesn't look too bad, but look what happens when it continues. There, it's already 32 persons affected. If we let this continue, the epidemic will become dangerous for the whole world. Let me show you the danger in another way. Look at the blocks. Some diseases increase like this from month to month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not how Ebola increases. When one patient infects 2 others, it doubles from month to month. So this is what will happen with Ebola. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and the next month twice as many, 64. So you see, if actions are taken this month, this is how much resources are needed. If you delay the actions for another 2 months, you need 4 times as much resources. Not to mention if you delay it further. There is no alternative. The Ebola epidemic has to be stopped now.
Sometimes I think we're living in a B movie. I'm talking about the Ebola crisis. Why hasn't the government closed the borders vis-à-vis West Africa? Frieden of the CDC says we have to act now. Yet he's against closing the borders.
The Ebola epidemic is spiraling upward. That's what the director of the Centers for Disease Control will tell Washington tomorrow. Dr. Tom Frieden joins us from the CDC headquarters in Atlanta. Doctor, good morning. So just how grave is the situation?
It is the world's first Ebola epidemic, and it's spiraling out of control. It's bad now. It's going to get worse in the very near future. There is still a window of opportunity to tamp it down, but that window is closing. We really have to act now.
Dr. Frieden, when we spoke on the phone the other day, you remain opposed to travel restrictions because, in your words, you said cutting commercial ties would hurt these fledgling democracies. Where did this opinion come from that that's of high importance?
My sole concern is to protect Americans, as well as...
Did someone advise you on that? Someone else outside of yourself? Somebody else advised you that that's a position we need to protect fledgling democracies?
My recollection of that conversation is that that discussion was in the context of our ability to stop the epidemic at the source.
Well, but we can get supplies and medical personnel into the Ebola hot zones, and so stopping planes, and I've heard you say this on multiple occasions, that we have 1,000+ persons per week coming to the United States from hot zones. Am I correct on that? Coming from those areas?
There are approximately 100 to 150 per day.
Per day, okay. What I don't understand, if the administration insists on bringing Ebola cases into the United States, clearly you've determined how many Ebola infection cases the U.S. public can handle. I mean, we heard NIH can handle 2 of these beds. Do you know that number overall in this country, how many we can handle?
Our goal is for no patients with
I understand,
Ebola
but as long as we don't restrict travel, and we're not quarantining people, and we're not limiting their travel, we still have a risk.
The lives of 300 million U.S. citizens are at risk here, not fledgling democracies in West Africa. Is our government that negligent? No. They know exactly what they're doing. They want to turn this country into a dictatorship. For with every crisis, the government hijacks it to gain more control over the population. Just look back a bit. 9/11, freedom exchange for TSA agents grabbing your gonads. NDAA, Bill of Rights exchanged for indefinite detention. Obamacare, independence exchanged for government control of our bodies. Now they've given us Ebola, creating fear, panic, and chaos. Last week, Obama appointed a czar. Get it? Priming the sheep for dictatorship to supposedly protect us from Ebola. But he's really bolstering Obama's ever-growing power. Ron Klain, the new Ebola czar, doesn't even have medical credentials. He's a Jewish lawyer that peddles political campaign agendas. He was Biden's right-hand man for many years. Now, how will Klain and friends, Frieden of the CDC is also a Jew, hijack the Ebola crisis? A scenario is created to make the population cry out for help. Big Brother promises health and well-being in exchange for more control. This is how the virus of a dictatorship takes root. Can't you see mandatory vaccines coming? You're in perfect health, but an executive order demands that a syringe be plunged into your veins. Obama will come on TV looking oh so compassionate, saying his Jewish czar is saving American lives. No, it means more tracking, less privacy, more power, less rights. This is where Ebola is headed. Yet another manufactured crisis for Big Brother to seize what little of our rights remain. I don't know about you, but I've got Plan B ready to go.